Hello everybody, and welcome back to a brand new Star Wars Battlefront video with me, X Specialist. This video it's not a news video, and it's not much of a gameplay video. It's more of a speculation video. I was watching Star Wars yesterday. I bought the Force Awakens on digital HD for Xbox One, and I was watching it, and even though it has nothing to do with the old trilogy, I couldn't help but speculate a little bit on what I think future DLC will have, just because I'm so hyped for what's to come next on Battlefront. Anyway, though, we're gonna get into talk today on what's to come from our next DLC, Bespin, which will be launching summer of this year. The exact month and day we don't know, and we won't know for a while, because Outer Rim is still very fresh, just launching last week. Needless to say, Bespin is very important in the Star Wars universe, as being almost a hideout, if you will, for our beloved characters, Han Solo, Leia, and Luke Skywalker, and Chewbacca in the original trilogy, before the infamous Lando Calrissian made a deal with Darth Vader and the Empire to keep them off them back, and ultimately lure Vader to his son. And we're gonna get into a minute into why I think Lando will be a fitting character for this. But so what is Bespin? For those of you who are avid Star Wars fans like myself, you would know that Bespin is the infamous Cloud City. It is one of my favorite, I shouldn't say planets, because it's not. People think Bespin's a planet. Bespin is not a planet. Bespin is a city. It is a floating city above the ground, and it is one of my favorite places in the universe. Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, which I do have, and I don't play very often because it wasn't as good as the first one. They did explore Bespin in there, and I love that much. Bespin is such a cool area to play around. I can imagine, obviously the whole entire city is going to have 4 maps in it, unless they do 2-map DLC, which would probably really piss people off, given their situation having 4 maps. But they would most likely have 4. If they had 2 maps, I'd be very upset, just, given how much track record they've had with content for this game. But needless to say, Bespin is full of casinos, a lot of hotels, homes, a lot of power plants for steam and gas, because obviously when it floats, it produces a lot of that energy with coal and stuff like that. So I'd expect there to be some few maps around, like some industrial power plants, or in and out of different homes and casinos. But that's about it, pretty much. It's just a big industrial floating city, like you'd see. It kind of reminds me of what's the city called in Fallout 4? Shit, it's gonna really bug me. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Not Fallout 4, sorry. If you played Bioshock Infinite, I know it has absolutely nothing to do with Columbia. That's what it is. If you guys play Bioshock Infinite, you'll know what I'm talking about with Columbia. It's kind of like Columbia, just a big floating city. To be honest, Bioshock's one of my favorite games. Bioshock Infinite was one of my favorite games. Like, the floating cloud city is really awesome, like the idea of it. So that's why I'm comparing it a little bit to Battlefront's Bespin, soon to be Bespin. I just hope they nail the DLC, because it's DICE. They'll do a good job on it, hopefully. But we're gonna get into here on a heroes versus villains. It's gonna be more of a hero video than it is a villain video, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So my brother bought me a character encyclopedia and an everything book about Star Wars universe, the original trilogy, obviously. And I read through it. It actually helped me out with some of my information here. So if you guys wonder where my information came from, I do have a character encyclopedia in my room, as well as everything you need to know about the original trilogy book. So that's where I got my information from. But we're going to get into the topic now about why Lando Calrissian is pretty much a done deal for a hero in Battlefront. Battlefront's Bespin DLC. And I'm a little bit on the defense here, because Lando isn't entirely the best guy in the world. I mean, he's notorious for tricking our original, characters in the universe into getting abducted by, well, actually, he's, they get abducted by Vader, and it was in order for Lando to get the Empire off his back, and he made a deal with Vader. But unfortunately, you can't make a deal with Vader because Vader's not keeping his bargain up. So it's pretty much Lando learning his lesson not to deal with the Empire because they're not gonna, the Empire is ruthless and not gonna help you out. And obviously, Lando will learn his lesson and be good again. But it's actually mainly his psychic Lobot, which will indeedly help our 4 characters. And that actually gets into one of his powers because unlike Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, Lando doesn't exactly, he's not a Jedi or anything like that, so he's not too in depth with the Force than they are. But needless to say, the guy still has power and trickery to him. So we're gonna get into abilities here. The gun that you see here, I'm using is a DH-17, and in a minute I'm gonna show you a picture of Lando. You guys are gonna see that the DH-17 and the gun he's using or holding in the picture are almost exactly the same thing. So I would expect a more powerful version of the DH-17 to be his go-to weapon in his DLC, just because of how similar. I'd say it's almost the exact same match. So I'd expect the DH-17, a more powerful version of that, to be his main go-to weapon in the game. Lobot is actually his character, and Lobot specializes in he's like a man computer. So I don't exactly know how he would come into a power. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think it's funny having 2 guys in a DLC as 1 hero, but I seriously think that Lando, one of Lando's powers could be calling in Lobot to assist him. But the problem is I don't know exactly what Lobot would do in the game that could be as a power up, because we know Lobot's a man-made computer, and in the movie he helped to get information through his cybernetics or what it is to help relay information to our characters to get free of Cloud City. But needless to say, I'm sure DICE can figure out power for Lobot, but I could very well see Lando having power to bring in Lobot as some kind of sidekick or help, to defend him. But like Han Solo, he is trickery. He is a smuggler. Maybe just like something along the lines melee-wise, how Han Solo has it with his, his shoulder charge, probably something like that. And then probably just like a power shot, something that simple. Lando's not going to be too much of a character just because. He's in one episode. A lot of people don't realize though that the Millennium Falcon actually was Lando's to begin with, and he actually won. He actually lost the Millennium Falcon in a gambling game with Han Solo because he was a smuggler, obviously. So that would totally make sense. But I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the possibility of Lando Calrissian being. I think it's pretty much a done deal that he's going to be a hero in Bespin's DLC for Battlefront, as well as a slight possibility that he might have Lobot as a power up with him. It would make sense, him being his sidekick. But if you guys wonder why I didn't get into the villains very much, is because I was having a hard time really thinking about what villain could be in there that we don't really have in the game. Because for those of you guys that know, Boba Fett's and Darth Vader are both in Bespin in the original trilogy, and they are already in the game as villains, so it would not make sense for them to be back, be put in the game when they're already in there. So that was where the trouble came into for me, trying to figure out what kind of villain could go into this time period. But I'm sure DICE will figure it out. They're a lot more illiterate about this than I am. I did do some digging into my character encyclopedia, trying to find guys that were on Bespin that didn't help out the cause, and I couldn't find too many things that were important. But and one smaller thing too is you guys are familiar with the Ugnaughts, which are the some of the native aliens, or natives, if you will, that live on Bespin, and I expect them to be an Ugnaught character model. Because a lot of our in-game, maps and planets, each character has their own unique face and distinct profile for each of the maps, as if they lived on it. So I'd expect there, alongside a character and villain, whatever that may be, I'd expect there to be an Ugnaught, just a profile, or native face, if you will, as a character model, because you know every character in this game has obviously got like a native you know model. We got Celestians, the Tatooines, Endors, and all that good stuff. But needless to say, guys, I'm done talking. I don't want to bore you too much with this. But let me know your thoughts about, you know, the possibility of Lando Calrissian. I'd say it was a done deal to have him in that DLC. You know, just because he's Lando Calrissian and he's Bespin. I'm still unclear about the enemy, obviously. But needless to say, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Bespin DLC coverage. Obviously, it's going to be a while before we hear anything that has to do with the DLC, guys. So please don't, you know, think that, you know, tomorrow's going to be DLC coverage. But I'm making this video today because I am I'm highly confident that there will be a Black Ops 3 Eclipse trailer tomorrow, because last Thursday we got the review, or not the review, but we got the you know, sort of reveal live stream just to give us a little teaser of what we're going to expect. But the DLC being 2 weeks away, I expect tomorrow to be the preview trailer for it. So if that doesn't happen, be very surprised, and probably would be really sad. But I would expect the zombies breakdown trailer tomorrow, guys, and our theory video. So stay tuned to that, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed my theory video on Bespin's DLC. And if you guys have any thoughts on what might be coming in it, please let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with possibly another zombies video. Have a great day, guys. Later.